Hey everybody, this is the Notorious B.I.V here, and I'm going to review Avengers Endgame. And it was frigging amazing, and I'm actually going to see it a second time tonight, going for my second time tonight. So, yeah, I loved it. I friggin' loved it, and I honestly, we're gonna start off with non-spoilers here to at the beginning, and then we're going to transition into spoilers. And I'll let you know when we're transitioning into spoilers so that I don't spoil it for you, okay? But basically, um, there's so much to love about this movie, but I guess for starters, um, there's so many payoffs in this movie. They like pay stuff off that I didn't even think needed to be paid off. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't even aware that that needed to be paid off, but they hit everything in this movie. It's crazy. Um, every character that's ever been in a Marvel movie was like in this movie. Seriously, and and a lot of them just had like minor parts, which was great, which is fine. A lot of them were just like appearances, right? Um, but like, and I didn't even notice this one, but someone told me that like even the little kid from Iron Man 3, that's like his little buddy sidekick, is actually in this movie. Like, it's ridiculous. Um, but 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 a lot of the focus of the movie is on like the main, like like the original six Avengers, right? And that's really where it should be. That's where the focus should be, and I think they did a really good job of focusing on on those characters, kind of tying up their storylines really nicely, um, and kind of um, just just kind of ending this whole 10-year first era of these Marvel movies. They just did a really good job. See, I had like, here's the thing. When you have like really high expectations for something, for a movie, and then you you go and see the movie, and it like didn't meet your expectations, right? You had just these sky high expectations, and the movie was good, but it wasn't like quite that good. Well, I had pretty high expectations for this movie, and I was trying not to have high expectations, but how could I not, right? I mean, come on, it's frigging Endgame. But so I had pretty high expectations going in, and this movie like just like blew those expectations away. Like it just went beyond. Uh, and honestly, at the end of the movie, I think Marvel just like killed themselves. I think they just like they set the bar so high with this movie. Like they cannot make another movie this great ever again. Like I just don't see how they can do it. I think they might have just ended themselves. Honestly, it was pretty crazy. Um, so with without further ado, let's get into some spoilers now. So when the movie started out, um, spoilers, by the way, like leave. If you don't want spoilers, we're done. Just leave. Don't watch the rest of this video, or bookmark it and come back later after you've seen the movie. Anyway, so I thought the beginning was really cool. I think the beginning like really was quick. It was a really quick beginning, and I liked that. I liked that it didn't drag or anything, and and actually, hold on a second. Hold on. I want to say one more thing before spoilers. Before spoilers. Um, and it's just that like no one else can even come close to making a movie like this, because because of all the because of all the just every every single like character moment is earned in this movie, and not just like from this movie, but from like all the other movies that led up to this. Like they they hit beats from all these other movies. They refer to all these other movies, and it's like wow. Um, and since no other movie has like 10 years of build up, right? You can't do this in like any other movie. I mean, even if it's um, even if it's like the third movie in a trilogy or something, right? Like it still can't. You still don't have that much history built up with all these characters to do what Endgame did. I mean, it's just unprecedented in any movie in movie history, honestly. Just because they had that 10-year history of all these movies building up to this one movie. Um, maybe someone else will do it in, another 10 or 20 years. I don't know. I don't see it happening though. But spoilers. So at the beginning of the movie, I like how quickly it moved. It did get a little slow after. So when so the first part of the movie, they find out where Thanos is, and they go and like, and I love how quickly it was. It was like, they find Thor. I mean, sorry, they find Thanos on his planet, and they just like, you know, they have like this brief exchange with him, and then Thor just like, you know, beheads him, right? And it's like done, boom, you know. But it was like so you actually felt um, you felt how futile it was, and how empty that victory was. It was just like it was so, you just felt it. You totally felt it, and and Thor just like sold that, like I'm the one that like, that screwed up in the first place. I could have killed him, but I didn't. And then, and then he like kills him here, kind of just out of spite, but like it still doesn't. It's meaningless, right? Thanos has already won. Um, and I do think it was weird that like I don't know about like using the Infinity Stones to destroy the Infinity Stones. That didn't really make sense to me exactly, because later, I mean, because later in the movie, like the Ancient One was saying, right? Like if you know, like we need I need this Infinity Stone, for this reality to like exist. You know what I mean? If I give it to you, then my reality's gonna die or whatever, right? It's gonna go away. And I'm like, so if the Infinity Stones are kind of what like keeps the universe going or whatever, then you know how can Thanos destroy the Infinity Stones and the universe still remain? That didn't really make sense to me. But anyway, so they have that really quick, go to the planet, you know, kill Thanos or whatever, and then it's like, then we're back on Earth, right? And it says like 5 years later, right? And there was a serious like there was just a huge gasp from the audience, where I was in my theater. It was like everyone's just like, oh my crap, and I felt it too. Um, it was like it it was just like holy crap, it's been 5 years, and they've lived with this for 5 years now, just like their defeat or whatever. Um, and so that was it was really cool just how they made you feel the weight of all these things that were going on, and 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 I do so I like how I think I think everyone like I was saying, every character moment is earned in this movie, except for Captain Marvel. And I'm glad that they use her sparingly in this movie, because it's not her thing, it's not her time. You know what I mean? It's not her time to shine. Um, like when she was so at the beginning of the movie, she's there for a little while, and then she's gone for most of the movie. Um, I did like at the end when Thanos is like his ship's like firing his guns down on the battlefield or whatever, and then all of a sudden like all his ship's guns like turn and like are shooting up, in the sky, and like, oh, something's incoming or whatever, and it was Captain Marvel. Like that was actually pretty cool. That was a pretty cool moment. But I'm glad there were a lot of rumors that like she was gonna save the day, or she was gonna like be the one that kills, defeats Thanos or whatever. And I'm really glad they didn't do that, because it just um, you know the focus, like I said, the focus is right, and rightly so. The focus is on Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, um, to a lesser extent the Hawkeye, Black Widow, and the Hulk. But they still have their moments. You know what I mean? Obviously Black Widow sacrifices herself, right? She finally gains some kind of redemption. Um, and Hawkeye gets his family back. That was like that was a cool opening scene too. Like to have Hawkeye just like hanging out with his family one day, and then all of a sudden they're just like gone, right? And you knew it was coming. Like you knew that was coming, right? But it was way cool. That was just an amazing opening scene. Um, but um, but so the focus is on those characters, and like all the ancillary characters just kind of like play their part, but they're not. It's not their time to shine, and they'll get their time, I'm sure. In the next phase here, right? Um, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Spider-Man. They'll all get their chance to shine, hopefully in the next big finale 10 years from now. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know if they're. I don't know if we'll get to that point. Um, but I'll talk about that at the end here. Um, what else do we need to talk about? I guess. So I guess. I guess. I wanted to talk about Captain America's ending, which sort of the end to his story. I thought that was. I thought it was a little odd. I've got to go watch it again, because I didn't really fully grasp how time travel works in this movie. Um, they mention it a few times, but it didn't. I don't know. If Captain America, so my understanding is at the end of the movie, Captain America goes back in the time portal, right, and to return all the Infinity Gems, right? Um, and and by the way, as an aside, like how does so he has the gem from Vormir, and the gem from what's the other planet? Um, I don't know. I can't remember the planet, but like two of the gems come from those two planets, right? Vormir and the other planet. So like if Captain America, so it's fine and dandy. Captain America goes back in time to return all the gems, but how's he going to go back in time and then get to Vormir and this and that other planet to return those gems? They don't really explain that. I don't know how that works, because I'm pretty sure there are no spaceships back, in the '60s or whatever. Well, in the 2000s, I guess, is when he goes back to, right? 2014. Um, but um, but the other thing is, so he goes back in time and he decides, oh, I'm going to stay here with Peggy Carter, right? And then he grows old with her, I guess. But it's in our timeline, right? He goes back in our timeline and lives his life to the point to 2019 here, right? And he goes because he doesn't come back through the time portal, right? He's just sitting on the bench there. They're like, oh, Captain America didn't come back through the time portal. Where is he? And then they look over and he's like sitting on that bench, right? So it's like, so it's their timeline. He went back in our timeline and hung out for a while. So like, so that kind of raises some questions, like, since he's married to one of the heads of Shield, Peggy Carter, like, wouldn't he be like, oh hey, by the way, you guys are being infiltrated by Hydra, like, you know, I don't know, maybe we'll get a series of movies about that, about him and Peggy fighting Hydra or something. But if he did fight Hydra back in the day there, it seems like he would do that, right? He would like try to keep Hydra out of Shield. But that means that in our present time, Hydra didn't take over Shield, right? So like, I don't know. That kind of raises some questions. But otherwise, obviously that was a pretty satisfying end for Captain America. That was nice. And I love the de-aging technology, but like the aging technology, making Steve Rogers look old at the end, like that was seamless, man. I was like, wow, that looks like an old Chris Evans. You know what I mean? Like they did a really good job on that. Like that wasn't like bad makeup or anything. That was just like that looked good. It looked really good. Like, I mean, I remember in Captain America, was it Winter Soldier? I think it was Winter Soldier, where he goes and talks to Peggy on her deathbed or whatever, and she's all like old or whatever. Like that was just bad makeup. That didn't look good at all. But but old Steve Rogers looked amazing. Like I was just like, holy cow, that was seamless. That was awesome. And I haven't really been very excited about like the Falcon and Bucky show and the Scarlet Witch and Vision show that are going to be on the Disney streaming service. Like, but after seeing this movie, I was like, oh hell yeah, like give me all of it, man. Give me more, like just just that's that ending with Captain America. I was just like, yeah, I'm totally up for a Falcon and Winter Soldier show. But I don't know, we'll see. I mean, this movie just got me so pumped, like it was just ridiculous. And then great ending for Iron Man. That was amazing. I really love what they did with Thor in this movie. I love the comedy. I love that he's kind of let himself go. Like it just and it totally fits, like from going from Ragnarok to this movie, and just seeing like what I was like, yeah, that like makes total sense that that would be Thor now. He's just like and and Chris Hemsworth was just like such a good sport to like just to ham it up like that. I mean, I think he did a really good job. Um, and obviously in the next movie, maybe he's going to show up in Guardians. And I'm sure he's going to be back to normal Thor. And it's fitting that Thor continues a little bit, because I mean, that we get more Thor. Because I mean, really, they basically reinvented Thor in his third film, Ragnarok. So it's like, yeah, we definitely want more of that now. You know what I mean? Because Thor 1 and 2 were just like, I don't know, were like Shakespeare Thor. He wasn't really that interesting. So I think it's fitting that we're going to get more Thor. The one scene that took me out of the movie, just like completely took me out, was like was when Captain Marvel gets the gauntlet and like all the female Avengers like form up around her, right? I was like, oh, whoa, wait a second, what? Like, that just completely took me out of the movie for a second. And like, oh, we're doing feminist politics again all of a sudden. Like, why? Why are we doing this? Um, that just really threw me off for a while. And I mean, why do like all the female Avengers just happen to be on the same spot on the battlefield? Like whatever. Um, so that bugged me. But again, I'm glad they used Captain Marvel sparingly, and that she wasn't like the Deus Ex Machina. Um, I guess she was kind of a Deus Ex Machina, but like, um, you know, they let they let Tony kind of be the savior of. He saved the day, so I liked that. I liked that he sacrificed himself, and yeah, I honestly think the Marvel universe has killed itself, though. I mean, I think they just like I don't think they're gonna be able to top this. I really don't. Like, I mean, the next movies they have coming out are like Eternals and Shang-Chi, who's like a kung fu expert or whatever. Like, I like martial arts movies, but like that just seems really lame to me. If that's what we have to look forward to, I don't know. I don't know. I think this might be the end of Marvel, and honestly, I'm okay with that. Like, Endgame was amazing. It was like everything I could ever hope for in a movie. And that, oh my gosh, that when Captain America gets Thor's hammer, that was like total, just like freak out, um, fanboy geek out moment. Like, that was so. I I was not expecting that at all. Like, that just came out of the blue, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I wanted that, but I totally needed that in my life. Like, I had not even thought about, that had not even occurred to me that that might be a thing. But oh my gosh, that was so satisfying. uh, that was amazing. That was like the high point of the film for me. Um, so anyway, there we go. It was amazing. Go see it, and it gets an A friggin' plus, biatch. Just an A plus, okay? Um, anyway, I am the Notorious B.I.V, and I appreciate you spending this time with me. Go see Endgame. Tell me what you think in the comments, and we'll have a little discussion, shall we? Awesome. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next vid, and until then, rock on, baby. See you then.